Aether band is a term I smithed to account for the manifold miraging effects observed over distance, whether terrestrial or aquatic. Aether simply refers to the air and all its constituent elements which compose its nature. Band refers to that area of 3D space which contains the observation being made. This band can be as broad as the entire field of view or a smaller, isolated section. The aether band is the cause of every minute and alternating effect under the broad category of mirage. That is, fata morgana, inferior mirage, or superior mirage, or any other optical or atmospheric distortion or refraction or whatever the hell happens out there.
And you.
Ball Earth lover.
You're next.
Drunk flat earther. You're so drunk you probably see two horizons. One apparent, one geometric. I have two arguments.
One for each of you.
So I've got 2 years now behind me in terms of filming and processing what I'm looking at. So I know what I'm looking at. When I play Sean G's clip later on after this, just listen to his process, listen to his responses to and interactions with my input and Aaron's input. There is an inferior mirage at the horizon in this image, and that inferior mirage is not just simply where the boat is. The boat is traveling through the mirage on its path to the left. Or if this boat were to continue to the left, if it were to turn around, it's swimming through the mirage, and the mirage is right at the horizon, and the mirage. Shoot. Okay, I'm just gonna let this play. Okay, now here's another boat here. Okay, now this boat is traveling at a different direction than the boat that we were just looking at. It is not demonstrating or exhibiting the same phenomenon. Okay, we can see the bow spray, but in my opinion, just pushing play right now and watching it, it's a bit more difficult to distinguish the same phenomenon as the previous one. Right here, there is a, more than likely, because it's just a smudge, I think that there's another boat out here to the right of this buoy, and it is farther away and deeper into the band. Alright, here comes this boat. Okay, this boat, zooming in. Okay, wait, I'm going to wait until I zoom out again. Right there. Okay, this boat has a clear inferior mirage. Right above the horizon, you can see the greater than sign on the bow, and then you can see that the back is... This is all perspective, people. This is all perspective, okay? The back is... This boat is on the water, and it is, you know, except for the waves that it has to cut through, it's level, right? It's level on the water, and yet we have a narrowing down of its stern into a lesser than sign. Okay, that is in the band. This, I don't know how to. All right, this is the very first time I've seen the Gina platform. Okay, now the Gina platform is farther away from the boat that we just passed and the boat that was previous to that one. So this Gina's vanishing line is higher up, right at the, if you go just below center of Gina, there is an inferior mirage of the light on the left hand side. Okay, you cut that light in half. There's a dark demarcation in the middle. Okay, that's the vanishing line, right? This whole image is refracted. Everything in this image is refracted. It's distorted, but the mirage is cutting across the light. And as I said before, to the left of this platform and to the right of the platform is the extension of the inferior mirage in the air. Okay, so the platform has an inferior mirage, and if you go to the left of the platform and you think you're in the sky, that if you follow the tangent of the vanishing line, that's where the inferior mirage of the sky begins. Everything below the vanishing line on that same tangent, everything below that, that's a mirage. That's not the sky. Okay, that we should be seeing water, and the water is behind that mirage. Okay, so now I've zoomed in optically, or I mean digitally, zooming back out. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead because I get distracted by these dolphins. And so we have to take into consideration this is not a very heavy day on the ocean. Okay, these swells are not large, so this boat is not going to be. If you watch the antennae up at the top, it's not bobbing up and down. This thing is not cresting. It's not troughing heavily. It's cutting through just the surface waves that are very, very small. I don't even know how to categorize them if they're 1 or 2 feet, but they're very, very small. Nonetheless, right at the bow, you can see the bow spray. So the waves are enough to hit the bow and spray. But you're going to watch the dynamic of this boat change as it moves. And the only explanation for that change is the refraction that's in the air. This is the inferior mirage. The inferior mirage is making this boat disappear and then reappear. And just watch the dynamic of it. Okay? This degree is three-dimensional. From the vanishing line to the disclosing line is physical distance and height vanished behind the mirage. It is perspective and the aether band dancing together. So the one thing that is a part of this discussion too is we see a horizon right here. The thing that you're going to hear Sean G say is that the horizon is the obstruction. Okay, now that's a very different answer than what's going out right now because of the way the dialogue is turning in this process. But the question is this, if Okay. If this boat were closer to us, say in the smoother part of the water toward the bottom of the frame, it would not be obstructed by curvature. Okay, so let's move this boat out, move this boat out, move this boat out until it comes to the horizon. Let's have it stop right on the horizon, right? Because we've got this picture, we can manipulate this picture, and we can make the boat stop right on the horizon. If it stops right on the horizon's not blocking it. In order for this boat to be blocked by the horizon, it has to go past, it has to go farther away from. Not only that, but then this horizon becomes the apex or the scion of the arch, of the physical curvature arch. And so like as we look from the bottom of this frame all the way up, that's climbing up. If you were in a boat going, okay, if you got in a boat and were going toward this boat, you would be climbing up an arch. Do you understand that? Or even if you want to say, no, you'd be going down. Whatever. If you want to say you're going down, fine. Then you should be gaining speed. Because that's what happens in the real world. Okay? The point is that geometrically, if this is curvature geometrically, then you are moving toward the point at which the ball curves away physically. Okay? If that's this horizon, this boat has to be a certain distance away to have this much missing. So you're going to hear Shanji say something like, the reason why this boat is missing what it is missing is because it's precisely where it needs to be missing this much because it's behind the curve. Okay? The problem with that is, besides the fact that the Earth isn't curved, is that you have an inferior mirage. And the inferior mirage does affect what you see. You can watch it because it's above the horizon. You can't see what's happening beyond this line, or if you want to say below this line. You can't see over this curve to what's behind it. What is above this horizon, is in the distance ahead of us according to perspective. Okay? So we're just going to watch the way that this boat dances in the band. I mean, look at the index of refraction. Look what shows up. Look what disappears. There it goes. Look at that. Why is that disappearing? It's above the curve. Why is that disappearing? It's above the curve. That's like a bird flying into that zone and then disappearing. It was flying. Where did it go? Where's the boat? Where did that boat go? Right? So you can see the twin engines on the back. The reason why those aren't disappearing is because they're high enough in the band. Okay, now, this is the pied de resistance. Okay, I'm just going to stop it here because otherwise this video would be forever. But in my opinion, you should watch this entire clip because everything in it goes into why I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay, so in this image we have the horizon. That's one line. And then beyond the horizon, we have the vanishing line of the boat. And then in the distance, we have the vanishing line of the island. Okay, that is all entirely perspective. Everything is just moving into the distance. This island is higher than this water. This island is higher than this horizon, apparent horizon that the inferior mirage has created. Just like if you're looking down railroad tracks, the end of the railroad tracks are higher than the beginning, prospectively. Okay? Now, what I want you to notice in this image right here is the scale of the boat. Okay, just real quick before I push play. Because what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to push play, I'm going to stop the boat in front of the island. Okay? I want you to have that picture in the back of your mind because it's going to come up later on in Shanji's discussion. They are going to be emphasizing the wrong syllable, okay? They're going to put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. They're going to be misdirecting you. And whether or not it's intentional, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I want to give Sean G the benefit of the doubt. Erebus is a complete smurf. He is a Decepticon of the highest order, okay? He has no honesty or integrity in him whatsoever. Sean, I've met Sean. I want to give Sean the benefit of the doubt. But the way he takes this conversation in this video that you're going to see, to me, just is incredibly... I'm incredulous. I cannot believe that he is not listening to the point that I'm going to make. So what they're going to do right now, well, not right now, but what they're going to do in the video that you're going to see is they're going to take this image right here of the lighthouse and the island. They're going to take a stock image that was taken much, much, much closer and try to do a blink test to prove how much of this island is missing. Okay? What they don't do, what they don't listen to when I try to help them understand what my argument was with my video that I put together, was that this horizon and this boat are not... Okay, if the horizon is a geometrical location, right, this horizon is never going to change. This is always going to be there. We should always see this image of this lighthouse. If a boat is on the horizon like this or just past the horizon, it should always look this way. In the next clip, you're going to see the next clip is taken in January 26th, I think, of last year of 2019, which is just a couple of months after this one. Okay? But what you're going to see is a completely different horizon. You're going to see a completely different boat, different scale of this boat, and a different island. Okay? This island, the island is smaller, the lighthouse is larger. In the next clip, the island is huge. The lighthouse is minuscule. The boat, I would say, is comparably the same size. The boat that you're going to see in the next clip is a private craft, personal craft, a yacht. This is a commercial vessel, but I'm going to say, and I think you would go, yeah, okay, Travis, I could do that. They're about the same size, except they're not in terms of scale. The boat that you're going to see in the next clip is much, much farther away, apparently, and the horizon, you'll see, it's a completely different observation. I don't think that you would think the same thing looking from one to the next. Okay, so the other thing about the next clip that you're going to see is that the boat does not have an inferior mirage to the same scale as this. If it does, it's very, very far away and very hard to see. I have not seen it to my satisfaction. But what we do see is bow spray. Now, if this boat is over the curve and is this big, the next boat that you see is much smaller and should be farther over the boat, and we see straight down to the water. Okay? The only explanation for any of these is you are looking over the same distance each time, and the only thing that has changed is the conditions of the aether band and the effects that the aether band is creating as you are looking at these observations. Now, the one thing, the one thing that I think should, and this is what I was like surprised, it's like Sean G was not impressed with the next clip and the size of the island. And I'm like, what the hell? How can you not be overwhelmingly impressed by what you're seeing right now with this contrast? Alright, so the one thing about this next clip with this personal watercraft is I don't start following it until you see it right now. Just right. So what I'm doing right now is I'm backing out. I'm showing you what I can see with my naked eye. Okay, so I've paused it right now to the very right of the screen, you can see the Anacapa Island just right there. So we've got that much distance. If you look, okay, I mean, you can say right now. So, okay, when we get closer to this boat, you'll see that the boat's facing a different direction than the previous trolling fishing boat. This boat is going away from us. The other boat was not. The other boat was going lateral. It was turning around. It was trolling. It was just meandering back and forth. It was not traveling away. Okay? This boat, we see its stern, which means its bow is the opposite direction. Okay? So, I'm on the beach. You can see the waves starting to break right here, and I'm giving you what I can see with my naked eye. Okay? Now again, think about this. What can you tell me about what you're seeing right here? You just, all I can say is there's a little gray dot. I have no idea. I can't say anything. I can't see anything. I can't zoom in with my eye. I can't tell you that this boat is over a curve. If you and I were standing on the beach right now and I said, hey, do you think that boat's over the curve? And you said, yeah, and we zoomed in, you'd be wrong. Okay? You'd be wrong. And we're going to zoom in now. We can start to see the whitewash of the engine, right? We can see the American flag waving. Okay, we see straight down to the water. We can see the bow spray. This boat is going away from us. That is, it is increasing its distance with every second. Every second this boat is increasing its distance away from us. I'm constrained to let it play out because I want you to be impressed with what you're seeing. Right? I mean, this is what I had to wait through this. I had to watch and see. I wasn't even prepared. I wasn't even prepared for what I'm going to see when this boat comes on the island. It's absolutely insane. You know, if I would have had two cameras going on, I could be taking stills. I could have been taking stills of the previous boat, right? And there would have been focal length, because if I zoom in on this boat, right? Okay, so I mean the index of refraction is different here too, because the boat itself is very distorted. The previous fishing boat was much larger and much closer, right? So if I zoomed in, if you said, well, you know, Travis, the fishing boat that you were filming could have just been zoomed in. You could have just zoomed in on it. Okay, that's fine. But it was clearer, right? You could see with more clarity the characteristics of the boat. This one you can't. This one is very distorted. And I'm going to say this again for all those trolls out there. There's a difference between blurry, which is out of focus, and distorted. Okay? The refraction is distorting this image. It's not blurry as a result of photographer error. So if I zoomed in to get this boat on a higher scale, it would be very. There we go. You know, you can see, all you can see is black and white, and you can't see any definition. There's no definition there. None. But you can clearly see this thing is not going over a curve, and it's going farther away from us. Getting closer to the island. It is going farther away from us. You know, and the one thing that Sean G said yesterday on his show was, Travis, you're going back to that same original video. Yeah, because you didn't get it. You didn't get it, Sean. You didn't even let me make my presentation, which no one seems to want. No one allows me to make my presentation. Like the Flat Earth didn't let me do it. I wasn't able to do it again on Modern Day Debate. Every time I started presenting my stuff, I got overtalked and shouted down with science, science, science.
I feel I feel the revalidation of the power. Nevertheless, I feel that the swipe cape should escape from
Sir, on behalf of us all, we thank you.
We're right because we've got all of it. And no, you're not. You're not right. You are interpreting your data wrong, and when you think that you have your suspect in the courtroom, you don't know that the killer is actually out there on the road, out there on the streets. Okay, now at this point, I might start to say that we've got an inferior mirage creeping in, but again, the refraction is so distorted that there's not enough definition to make that claim. But you can clearly see, again, this boat is creating bow spray and prop wash. Right? This is a direct line of sight. This boat is just simply going into the distance. Look at how huge this island is. This boat is closer to the island than the other boat was. The other boat, I didn't even play out the other boat. I didn't finish playing it. I wanted to stop it in front of the island. I'll have to do that again. Okay? Now, before we get any farther, how would you describe what you're looking at right now? I mean, look at the top of this island. Look at that heat haze that's going on. Look at the top of the island dancing. Watch that little minx dance. Okay, let's go down from the top. You've got this obtuse lesser than sign, and then it comes back into the middle on that sandwich part, that middle part that's a sandwich. You know? Like, what the hell are we looking at? Not only that, where is the arch? The Anacapa Arch. The Anacapa Arch is right here where the boat should be. Right here where the boat is. Why can't we see it? I don't necessarily have an answer, except for the fact that the aether band is causing the refraction so that we can't see it. I don't know. I can't say anything else. Well, the light is the interior refraction index of the blah, 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 blah. That is a bunch of science babble. Science babble. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. How far away is this boat from the island? Is this boat on the horizon? Look at how this boat is dwarfed by this island. And Sean G and Erebus want to focus on the fact that they can blink test. And I'm saying, no, compare. Okay, do your blink test on this image. You hear me? Okay? Right here at the top, you see these two little white dots? That's lighthouse. Do your blink test now. Do it now. Do it. And this is where they wouldn't let me go in this episode. They wouldn't let me go here. They wanted to do their blink test, and it's very difficult for me not to just lose my mind, because this is absolutely crystal clear, people. Crystal clear. The reason why we can see farther, the reason why we can't see as far, the reason why we see a towering image, the reason why we see a compressed image, the reason why we see an inferior mirage, a fata morgana, a superior mirage, whatever you want to call those mirages, is nothing to do with curvature. It is always, only, and ever will be the effect of the cause, which is the aether band. Everything we're looking at right now is directly in front of us. And the way it is presented to us is exactly the way the Mistress Aether Band wants to present it to us. Okay? I'm going to stop it right here. This horizon line is not the same as the one that we saw with the fishing boat. That one in the fishing boat was much closer. Much closer. That was an effect of the Aether Band. That is what magnification. This is a diminishing. I don't even know what the word is. A reduction in size. No, it's not a reduction in size. It's this looks like it's farther away and we're higher up. The fishing boat looked like it was closer to us and lower to the water's surface. Okay? This entire view is the Aether Band. This entire field of view, everything that you're looking at, everything that you see here is a result of the Aether Band. So I'm backed out now. I just backed out. You couldn't even see the boat. I'm going to stop it right there. Look at the lighthouse. Is this how high the island is? Is this how big the island is? It's not. This boat is not disappearing from the bottom up. It's getting smaller and smaller. There's not an inferior mirage on it. You just saw the prop spray right there. There's the lighthouse. Hello, lighthouse. There's another boat right here coming up on the left. There's another boat coming up. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, this is so hard. It's so hard to know how to publish these things for you guys. All right. I'm just gonna wrap this up and try to publish it. See what happens. See what you guys say. I would have put out more today, but the whole video pad fiasco just tanked. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that Fonzarelli, and share this so that we can increase the discussion with the community. I have been your host, Travis Finley, on The Plain Truth. Until next time.